Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this one. I know a lot of the ESU guys are in different spots than usual. I play with them at least once a week. I try to more, but at the end of the day, he still has fun playing League of Legends. Um, but yeah, the Misericordia team, I'm excited to see them. I know this was kind of a last-second scrim that got set up, and so I don't think personally I've played against them in the NECC league, but I'm excited to see what they bust out here. Because a lot of times in scrims, it's not always the same thing you're going to get in a recorded match. So I'm excited to see what they bust out. Come on, man. I'm commentating my ass off over here. I want to say if they were. I know we had different divisions and stuff. I recognize the name, but I don't know if it's the same group of players that they had previously. I don't really recognize any of the names, but I'm hoping after today that I will recognize the names coming up. Some real unforgettable plays we're looking for here today. Content farming. For sure. That's why I'm more excited to do this than honestly a regular match. Is just because you never know what's going to happen. And I mean, speaking from ESU's side, all season, Nay Crusade has been playing in the top lane and Autolet Gun in the bot lane, and they're, just saying, you know what, it's a scrim, let's switch it up, see what happens. And Aspian, the normal support player for the Emporia State team, is taking over my position in the mid lane. So I'm excited to see what he's got. Yeah, I will say a very noticeable thing if you've played with Aspian is that he's very consistent no matter what. Like he'll never play over aggressive and take unnecessary risks like a lot of other greedier players. Um, and that's one thing I appreciate about him compared to some other people on the Emporia State squad. It's a team, myself included. It's a team of over half the team is all about greed. Because if you start being greedy and it works, you're just gonna punish your opponent that much harder, and it pays off. But sometimes it can leave you in not the greatest of positions. I think in the on the client they post. Oh, I guess you didn't get that. Here, let me. There we go. The real draft unfold. That's right. I'm excited to jump in and just see what's already happening. So, and Nate Crusade's doing a little bit of stalking on the stream here. I mean, I won't hold it against him, but I do. Yeah, we're good to go, Bob Scop. Don't even worry about it. Oh, geez, a lot of technical difficulties. Let's see. Yeah, we're hopping straight into the in-game draft here, with starting off with an Olaf ban. What do you think about that? Definitely, it's just a pick that I haven't seen very often recently, especially in a competitive scene, because it feels like he's one of those champions that just thrives in the miscoordination. Oh, jeez. You didn't have to do it. Oh, man. They're just rifling through this draft here. I do see it on stream. We're good. So, yeah, they're.
失われる方が喜ばしいこともある。
Actually, I'll say the whole Emporia State side so far has gotten their normal. Audley Goodwin, he plays top. Mordekaiser is his most played champion of all time. So, comfort all around. Easy kill, loves his Pantheon. He claims he's the best in NA. So we'll see about that. But on the other side, I'm seeing a lot of meatball. The same kind of strategy I feel like we would have seen even if they got the Olaf or the Jarvan. So yeah, and it kind of concerns me seeing the Draven pick come through with all the tanks because Draven, he mostly does burst damage, not a lot of consistent damage. Same with Pantheon, and I mean the other three players on their team do have some good tank shred, but they're all AP. So if the tanks decide to just build a little bit of MR, it's going to be a lot harder for Emporia to crack the meatballs. Uh, oh, for sure. No, but going off of that, looking at Misericordia's side, I mean, they have a decent amount of tools to get on that Draven, where it looks like, the only real healing tool is a Malzahar ult, maybe a Mort ult. But I mean, Galio can get in, Udyrs can get in, especially if they get a speed boost from the Sivir or just even a Sonar coming over. It could be really hard for Nick Crusade to even have a shot at playing the game here. No, I agree. And just looking at the bans from Miscordia, I mean, there's a lot of ADCs on that list. And that feels weird to me because, I mean, you've got Nate Crusade. He's a great ADC player, but at the end of the day, all he's been playing is top for the past, couple months. And seeing a lot of focus there kind of gives me a weird feeling that, why aren't they banning out the Mordekaiser if they know, this is the most played champion? Things like the Pantheon. I feel like they're putting a lot of attention on their bot lane, and they want their bot lane to get ahead. But that could be hard for them into a Draven Swain matchup. You know, I will say that Sivir and Sona, they do have a lot of, protect themselves. They have a lot of self-peel, they can go really fast if they want to. Both of them having speed boosts that enable their allies. So at the end of the day, I think this one really comes down to, like you said, spacing, getting those hooks, getting Crusade ahead if Emporia really wants to win this game. We both know from experience the Autolite gun can and has carried games solo on Mordekaiser, but I think with the amount of, meatballs on the other side, if Mordekaiser takes too long to deal with somebody in his ult, his whole team can get run over pretty easily. Yeah, they're making. I think it looks like they're just making sure everyone gets to their assigned seat, so they don't get caught off guard by an invade. Because I mean, just looking at the level ones, I think Emporia would have a stronger level one, just because if Pantheon were to take his stun and Swain has the root, that's a dead squishy real fast. So yeah, he will get spotted out though by the Gallia, and they'll just handshake, walk away, be happy with the wards they got down. Yeah, something really interesting I want to look at is where Ezekiel will start. It looks like he's pathing all the way to his red, so both junglers will start with a leash from their bot lane, which means level 3 we could have a lot of, around 3 minutes, there could be a lot of river skirmishes in this one. I think that Udyr is stronger. It depends. I mean, HP bars, all that. But I haven't really seen this matchup, but I just feel like Udyr would win it level 1 or level 3 against the Pantheon. No, definitely. It looks like Crusade here is forced from the Draven queues to push out the lane a little bit. So if they're not able to punish the Sivir Sona, they're going to have free farm under the turret, and they're going to be able to outscale Emporia's bot lane. Yeah, he's getting a lot of damage in on there. We'll see how much Sivir can get healed up from health potions and Sona, but if they keep dishing out poke like that, it's only a matter of time before the Draven cashes in. But I'm very curious about the easy kill clear here. He ended up on the bot side of the map after 3 camps. And now he's going top for the scuttle. I mean, we just saw Udyr in the river, I'm pretty sure. And nothing's going to get done here. I mean, that's the thing about Udyr. You know, he'll walk up to you, but... Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the thing about Auto Gun, man. He's played that champion so many times that he knows his limits. He knows exactly when he could kill somebody on low HP, win the 1v1 in the crucial situation. So that's going to be a pretty beneficial first blood going over, especially with the Udyr wasting a bit of time. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough there. I'm looking to see if Crusade will opt to push this or try and thin it down for a freeze, because the Sivir would lose a lot of minions taking an unfortunate back this early. But it looks like he will just push it out and try and get a back of his own. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of gold if he can cash out. I mean, he's just free farming it, literally, right now. I'm a... Wow. Oh, wow. That was a very interesting play by the red team, Misericordia. I mean, you got to know, you know, if you're diving a full HP Malzahar and he has his passive up, you got to have a better game plan than Udyr stun to get that one done. No, definitely. And just like that, we're off to a 3-0 start for Emporia here, getting ahead just like we talked about in the draft. How, man, this game is just nonstop action. That's how you know this is a scrim game. Everyone's fighting it out. You know, there's no time to talk about anything. And it looks like Emporia's or both teams are trying to establish vision for the Drake here. It feels like Emporia, you know, they could just push out of both lanes very quickly and just establish the prio. Uh, uh, yeah, that shield is. I mean, if Miss picked anything but wait, making sure I can talk. If Miss picked anything but the Sivir here, it feels like it would just be a lot harder of a game because you can't block as much damage. But another. I can see what the Udyr's trying to do there. He's trying to force Mord off, trying to get your Urgot to get back. But at the same time, for the Mordekaiser, I'm surprised he didn't turn that one earlier. As soon as the Urgot ult misses, I feel like, you know, you want to turn that and try and, you know, the token term, greed the 1v2. Let's see. He's Aspian does have ult here. He could. If Pazume walks up too far, he could die pretty easily. Yeah, the Malzahar is starting to run out of mana here. So maybe Galio's thinking it's not that big of a deal, but here we go. He's just he Ezekiel. Oh my goodness. And it looks like, man, this one is just getting a bit out of control. Emporia's just running rampant. They're getting away with whatever they want to do. I mean, Ezekiel, he that's one of those plays where you just spam ping him, but somehow, he yeah, because the Galio couldn't just he had to think about whether it was a good idea to ult in there. And I think we'll never know for sure, but I was gonna say earlier, is it all calculated? I don't know, but I think he's the perfect representation of if Dr. Mundo was in real life. He just goes where he pleases. He does not care. But like I said, the greed of Emporia State, when it pays off, it pays off, and now we're looking at a 5K gold lead less than 10 minutes into the game. Yeah, you know, I think that the Udyr could have been looked for more invades, because Emporia State, they do have a track record of their laners not really playing for their jungle as much, more putting the resources into themselves. Um, and we've struggled with that in the past. You know better than anyone of letting their jungler get behind. But here we got a little skirmish. Indeed. And it looks like, Ezekiel's just. I mean, this is just. I mean, they've got to get punished for this, right? And he's looking for it. This is what I'm saying. Emporia State, they start off by looking for a tower dive, and then they move into just a little bit of poke damage, but they move into a fight in the enemy's tower. You know, it's the greed. Oh man, it just feels like they're gonna. It's like the one meme, they can't keep getting away with this. It's like, what is it gonna stop? And I mean, there's just no punishment happening, and I think a part of that is just because, besides the jungle and arguably Urgot, their draft is very, play around the bot lane. We need our bot lane to scale so we can be strong. I don't think I've seen a single bot lane. Oh. And that's. Let's see. Here comes Pico. Oh man. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried it. It seems like well, he is hungry. And, I mean, Emporia State, at the beginning of that play looked really good. Uter was coming in to punish, put resources into that bot lane. But then, I mean, it just turned into a 3-for-1 trade out of nowhere. And it just feels like Emporia State's 5 steps ahead. They're just gonna do it. They're just gonna win the game. My Nakers said, yeah, it just feels like I don't know. Well, he got scared. It feels like Emporia State got so far ahead so early that the Misericordia kind of just feels like there's nothing they can do about this game anymore. But I think that in the 5v5 they could stand a chance still. Um, and Audley Gunn is just he welcomed the Urgot to throw him under the tower and still got away with it there. And it just feels like, you know, we're trying to skirmish bot here, and yeah, they're just kid. What would you say that Misericordia needs to do to try and get back into this one here? If anything, I mean, sometimes Nate Crusade, Nate Crusade somehow still ended up with the double kill there, or almost ended up with the double kill there if the back of the Draven ult connects. Oh, and Pantheon flashes. He flashed under the turret. And it's a slaughter. I don't know. I think Misericordia has to try and snag a Drake or something to slow the bleeding, drag on the game. A lot of it. Yeah, you know, and it feels like that might even be too hard at this point because I mean the Mordekaiser here is going more of an attack speed build. A lot of damage on the autos. He's going to split push very quickly. I think I coined this build myself actually a couple weeks ago in a game, and I mean with this build at the beginning of the game I was like, man, I'm just going to troll. And it so happens that if you build a full attack speed on Mord, I mean nobody can fight you in the game. It's already hard enough when you're going the regular Riftmaker build, but if you throw attack speed boots and a Nashor's Tooth in, See, Flash comes out. And finally, I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about. How they get back in. You mentioned, just claiming the bounty, staying together, and they finally did just that. And Emporia, they got greedy. And Nate Crusade said, I want to be bigger. Went to the side lane by himself, and he really got punished for it there. And these are the exact plays that Emporia State's kind of known for. They get super ahead. They have really good mechanical players, but sometimes they get a little too greedy. And well, the Swain is lasting so long here, and I mean that's just well. It, the Pantheon so far ahead, and it feels like that would have been a great play if they just kind of got the Swain and got out. You don't need to force, because Udyr is probably the biggest threat on Misericordia's side right now, and it looks like Odalet Gun's gonna pick up yet another one. He definitely can, and it feels like Emporia is just getting away with robbing a bank here. I mean, they're just easy kills. He's gonna challenge the enemy top laner by himself as a jungler. Exactly, and this was the one thing that couldn't happen if Misericordia wanted a shot at winning this game is because I believe that the team fight comp of Misericordia will just be better late game than Emporia State. Emporia State has a lot of greedy champions that like to do what be by themselves, farm, like the Draven's doing here. Yeah, for me, it feels like Misericordia just needs to play it a little slower. Having your support arrive first is just a little rough, especially as a Sona. Wait for a Gallia, wait for one of your meatballs to get in there. he he's just you can never see him because he's always never where you'd expect. This guy. And it looks like he will go down here to the Udyr. I mean, I'm glad that Misericordia is fighting back, but the only problem is it's all going on to one champion, and with that, if that one champion goes down, it's I agree. If I wasn't seeing Sivir get two-shotted by Draven here, I'd say otherwise, but I do agree. If Nate Crusade again in the spot lane by himself, he's playing I believe that in just about everything they teach you about ADC, you don't want to stay by yourself. Oh wow, he went back over. No way, no way, no way. And this is just, this is Emporia State. It's, if you look at it, it looks very scuffed. But I will say that we always, the team will apply pressure no matter who it is. There's never something not being done across the map. We have the teleport coming in. Well, the rest of his team is back up here. They might be able to stall it. He's no mana. I don't know if he could fight this with just autos. He's bobbing and weaving though, but he finally goes. Oh, it's like, and he just, that game, it just got to a point where no matter what Misericordia did, it just felt like it was over regardless. I think Emporia State, they showed a lot of good mechanical play there. I think a lot of their team play was scuffed. But at the end there, you could see when Misericordia finally started to group up as 5, they were, killing a lot of the Emporia State members. But lo and behold, there's a Draven in your base. I mean, you never expect it, but Emporia State, it happens. No, for sure. And I mean, that was, just looking at that game, it was just out of hand from the first kill. It was when Autolit Gun just killed Urgot top after a failed gank by Misericordia. It just, that kind of just set the tone for the whole game. It was like, okay, we're gonna come out, we're gonna be aggressive, we're gonna play like we're better than them, and we're just, it's this kind of mindset that Emporia State's been in recently. That we are the best in our division. Nobody's better than us, and we're gonna play like it. And it worked for them today. Yeah, like that's end of the day, pack it up. It's 5 o'clock. But yeah, it just felt like Also, I want to point out there's a few objectives that Rift Herald fight, the 2v2 that just went so poorly for Misericordia. Easy Kill came in, smited the Herald. Um, Aspian just he caught the Gallia, didn't let him play the game and do his job, and no, I agree. And my kind of closing thoughts on that game is that it felt like a solo queue game. A lot of it was all over the place. It felt like neither team, was communicating as efficiently as they could. And that kind of happens in scrims. You're not in the mindset of we gotta play perfectly. We have to do this, execute at this time. But I think the players had a lot of fun. Probably the Emporia State players more so. Just being able to get out there, play what they want to play. Yeah, I think it was a good game overall, and GG's to both teams.
She's muted actually. Okay. Sorry about that. I had my own mic muted for section. I don't know. It shouldn't have been muted for the game. I guess we'll see. I'll check it in the VOD later, but if it is,